What's up, y'all? What's happening, and what's good with everybody, man? What's good with everybody? Everybody cool? Everybody good? Let me know if that music is loud enough. You can still hear it. Let me know. Let me see.
Hello. Thanks for the follow. You're watching the D Podcast Experience.
Thanks for the follow. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you, Mom. Thank you. Good morning. Good morning, Miss Sandra D. It's only been a few days, but it feels like forever. Yeah? Feels like forever. How's everyone feeling this morning? Or this afternoon? Or this evening, depending on where you're at in this beautiful world. Because it is just that. The world is beautiful, y'all. There's just a few bad things going on. But it doesn't discredit the world entirely. Perspective, right? Anyway, yesterday when I had decided to what up, Waldo? What up? What up? What up, Mels? Thank you all for coming in. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Yesterday when I was going to sleep, I wondered what I was gonna kind of talk about this morning. And anytime I go to sleep, I always have my little ritual or whatever people want to call it. Let me scoot this a little closer, actually. There we go. Not a ritual, but it's a thing that I do before I go to bed. I guess you can call it a ritual, right? If you do it all the time. Is I basically give myself a half hour of wind down time. Now, a lot of people like to wind down a different way. They like to watch TV and chill and all that kind of stuff. I don't do that. I basically just, for the last half hour of my day, I kind of just spend time with myself, clear my head, and prepare myself for sleep, right? I always prepare myself for stuff. It sounds kind of weird, but you prepare yourself. You try to clear your thoughts. You breathe. There's breathe exercises and all this other stuff. I've been doing it for years, so I can wake up with a little more clarity and not take yesterday into today, right? So yeah, that's what I do. And so when I woke up this morning, I started thinking to myself, I said, man, I have quite a few friends that are going through it. I mean, we're all going through it in some form or fashion, right? We're all doing something that we're all dealing with something. And so I woke up and I was like, I know what I'm going to talk about. And some of the things I'm going to talk about, I'm only going to be on here for about an hour, maybe an hour and 15 minutes, something like that. Keep it nice and short. Maybe an hour and a half. You made it, Miss Nolan. You made it. You're right, Mom. We can make it better. We can make it better. I'm very grateful for the new day as well. Sandra D. And let's see, Mel's. I'm very thankful to be able to comfort on my own couch today. I'd rather not have to see any of the ugliness that may be out there today or this week. On that, one of the reasons why yesterday was so important to me as far as before I went to sleep was because I know today and the days to follow are going to be well, they could be. I don't want to say they're going to be, because then you're putting it out there in the universe, right? It could be a very negative energy filled rest of the week. if you let it get to you. If you let it get to you. That's the thing, is you have to find a way to not let certain things get to you. And I know that's tough, and I know that's hard. And well, before I get into all that, y'all know I gotta pay some bills here, y'all. So, having said all that, the D Johnson, of course, and I'll put it in chat as well. The D Johnson, of course, is brought to you by Dwayne Johnson's Photography on Instagram. I'm a street photographer. I'm a portrait photographer. I do a lot of photography stuff, and my photography is different because I didn't want to have to learn Photoshop. And although people think it's Photoshop, I have videos showing how I do my photography, and yeah, so there's no Photoshop. As you guys can tell, if you live in Vancouver, Washington, you can tell this is downtown Vancouver. But the way I do my photography is really different from how other photographers do their photography, because I learned light, and I love light, and but I also like black and white photos as well with street photography, because street photography to me is therapeutic. I can walk around, take my own time. I see certain things. This is one of my favorite photos of the year, and you see the lights, how they're beaming down. And the caption says, "Cold, foggy night." And then, as if I was standing next to the person that said that, I say, "Excuse me, sir, that's not fog." And I left it at that. And this is during the times we had fires in the air. So this is smoke that's making this stuff here, not the morning dew or not the morning whatever. But anyway, I just love photography. It's an art form. It's a way for me to express kind of myself, and plus I love doing portraits of people. Who doesn't like making people happy? I like making people happy. Also brought to you by, this is the D Podcast Experience. Now, it gets a little confusing, y'all, because I have this stream, the D Johnson, but then I also have the D Podcast Experience, which I started in Biggs's studio garage at his old house, and then he moved, and so I wasn't able to start it back up. But if anybody wants to be on the D Podcast Experience, the only difference between this, what I'm doing now, and the D Podcast Experience, which is also on Twitch as well, is this, the D Podcast Experience is basically for interviews and when people want to come over and just have a discussion and talk and all that kind of stuff. So the D Johnson is also brought to you by the podcast. This is another, this is the D Podcast Experience on Instagram that you can find. And I also have a weight loss one too for my weight loss journey if you want. It's just Dwayne Yes I Can Johnson on that. So you guys go and check that out now that we got the business out the way. You know, when it comes to negativity and dealing with negativity, or even putting yourself in a position to where you're going to be subjected to negativity, I avoid it. And I don't avoid it because I don't want to talk about it or don't want to whatever. I avoid it because it has nothing to do with me. There's now, what's going on in the world right now affects all of us. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is staying in your own lane and minding your business, which is what I do quite often. And that's not to say that you don't love to help people. That's not to say that you don't empathize with people. Yesterday, I know we were all talking about empaths and gaslighting and all that kind of stuff. That's in that realm. If that's your thing, I'm an empath as well, and I've identified with that for, I don't know, probably 20 years now, and it's tough. It's tough because we take on a lot of other people's energies, regardless whether it's positive energy, whether it's negative energy, whether it's confusion, whether it's anger, irritation. jubilation, joy, gratification, gratitude, and things like that. We absorb it. We absorb it. And for whatever reason, I've always been this way since I was younger, but I just didn't know what it was. And people always felt, not the need, but people always gravitated towards me just to talk and just to whatever, because I don't judge people, man. I don't want to judge somebody for their struggles and what they're going through, because we all go through things, right? On different levels, different circumstances, and different situations. But one thing that will always remain the same is we're all human and we're all going to go through things, right? We're all going to go through ups. We're all going to go through downs. It's just what it is, yin and yang. It's a percentage, you know? But it's what you do in between that up and down that makes the up and down easier to deal with, if that makes sense. And also what I'd like to do, as I always want to do on here, is we're going to start out with some positive news real quick. Okay? We're going to start out with some positive news. I'm going to catch up real quick on chat, so I don't want to leave nobody out. I have to work. Yes, you have to work and keep clients safe and sane. Let's see. Let me move this so I can read the whole thing. Oops. Look at that. My diffuser fell, because you don't want to be too shiny up in here. Some of my clients are super into politics and will flip if gets reelected. Yeah. I have a feeling there's a lot of people that are going to feel that way if certain things happen. But the thing about it is, before I get on to the positive news, the thing about flipping out is that doesn't solve anything. It doesn't solve anything, because you're sitting with yourself flipping out, and then other people that agree with you, they're flipping out, and so now you guys are together flipping out, and it doesn't solve anything. It's just people that are angry about the situation. And I understand the frustration, trust me. I understand the frustration, but at the same time, there's a more productive way to go about it, right? When there's nothing, if something happens to where there's nothing you can do about it, you have to think to yourself, there's absolutely nothing I can do about this from here on out, right? We vote so we can make change. After the voting's all done and whatever happens, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. And you can get mad about it. You can get irritated about it. Either way, however you vote. But the thing is to me, that's a waste of time. It's a waste of energy, right? Because you still have to wake up every single day and go about your life, regardless of what's happening, upstairs, so to speak. Regardless what happens, what's happening with our leaders, right? So it's another thing that you can do to where you don't add stress or add anguish to what else is going on in your brain. Because let's face it, we all have things on our brains all the time that we're just like, dang, I wish I could shake this, or how do I deal with this, or whatever, right? So, I mean, you got to just take it in stride is I guess what I'm saying. Well, my clients have some blocks in their brains that they can't regulate their emotions. That sucks, and that's very unfortunate. But hopefully, measure 109, I think it is, with psilocybin cubensis being able to be microdosed medically, I think that's going to help a lot of people. PTSD, depression, Alzheimer's, or if you're like myself, who have symptoms of CTE, which if for people that don't know what CTE is out there, I grew up playing football, which means I grew up and received quite a few concussions. Many I just gave to myself because I balled out of control. I happen to think I was a pretty good football player. And, when you play over half your life, you tend to pick up injuries along the way. I've had many broken bones and things like that, but the most thing is my brain's been jarred around like a pinball in a pinball machine. And so with me, I have memory spots that I don't remember. I have certain neurological transmitters in my brain that don't fire anymore. So give you an example. I grew up in Vancouver, Washington, although I'm from Jacksonville, Florida. I go to the gym most every day, except for Saturdays and Sundays. And about a year and a half ago, I went to the gym, as I always do for the last 6 or 7 years. And so you think, after going every single day, except for Fridays, or except for Saturday and Sunday, for the last 6 or 7 years, it's pretty easy. You know the route, right? So I'm leaving the gym one day and I sit in my truck and I literally forgot how to get home. Forgot how to get home, y'all. And I sat in my truck for 20 minutes. Yeah, I could have Googled it. Yeah, I could have, used some app to get back to my house. But I was just like, am I really forgetting where I live? And I forgot. Literally forgot for 20 minutes. And then it came back to me and I was like, oh, okay, cool. So after that moment, I went in and whatever, got scanned and that's what happened. But anyway, so I don't like opioids and all this man-made medicine and all these things that people get hooked on, right? I'm more of a naturopathic type of person. Some people agree with it, some people don't. But for me personally, and that's their own choice, that's whatever, right? For me, things that are natural, things that are correspond with our body, because the things that I take are made up of the same exact things we're all made of. And so it's so much better for your body than a prescription from a pharmacy or from a pharmacist that is getting told what to give people, right? It gets to the point to where you get on so many medications that you need to get on other medications for the side effects of the medications that you're taking. It's ridiculous. So if there was something that you can find that was natural, that you didn't have to go and buy, you can actually just go to a certain place and pick it yourself, and it helps you mentally, and it's natural, and it repairs neuropathogens and even creates new ones. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. So anyway, so above and beyond all of that kind of stuff, okay, above and beyond all of that, I think it's measure 109, psilocybin cubensis. I hope it gets voted in because it would help people like that, Miss Nolan, and it would make your job much easier, especially for people with PTSD, ex-military people, or men and women who have gone through some traumatic things, even kids. And that's really what it's all about, right? Mental health. Mental health is everything. But let's see. Sorry, I'm just reading this. Okay. Mom says you can pay attention about it for the next election. Many have already, and that is a good thing. Regardless of today's outcome, do it for our kids and grandkids. It's part of adulting. 1,000%, Mom. It's not about me. It's about my kids. It's about their future and what they're doing and how we're leaving. How are we leaving the community for our kids? And our kids are already getting raised on social media. They're already getting raised by their peers, right? And but I will say that I honestly believe there's a higher percentage of people that are doing the right thing versus, like, what I mean is doing the right thing by breaking the curse, maybe how they were raised, right? My generation, a lot of us weren't raised the right way. Grew up in different households that maybe weren't the best, right? So we always want better for our kids than we had, regardless of how we are or how we were growing up. We always want better for our kids. That's just what it is, or you should anyway. And so yes, Mom, you are 1,000 correct, 1,000% correct. Oh wow, that's TV hard. Yeah, very frustrating. Yes, Nels, it's very frustrating. It was frustrating. It was more scary than anything else. So No, I have had to beg supervisors to consider something more than just meds for clients who have severe disabilities who still doesn't calm their behaviors. I'm telling you right now, you guys, regardless of how you think about like edibles, or how you think about psychedelics, which psychedelics has this party tag on it, right? So in 1970, Richard Nixon signed this thing saying that all psychedelics are Schedule 1 drugs, along with LSD, MDMA, DMT, psilocybin cubensis. All these things are Schedule 1 drugs, because when people were taking them back then in the 70s, they were expanding their mind and realizing, I don't want to go fight your war. It was a higher sense of consciousness. I don't even want to get into it. If you want to talk about it, message me, holla at me. I can educate you on it. Not educate you from a standpoint of egotistical either, because I'm above nobody else, because at one time I didn't know, right? So I just want to do my due diligence and teach. I love to teach. But anyway, let's see. I've had clients on 3 different sleeping meds, and they could stay up for my son has CBD. Yes, CBD is great. CBD is so good because it our bodies naturally process it the right way, and there's no addictive natures. There's no addictive qualities in psychedelics. There just is none. There just is none. And again, I'll get into that privately if you'd like to, if anybody wants to speak on that. But it was from another shop where they don't put THC in it. Yeah. Oh, you can separate THC and CBD. You can definitely separate it. And that's another thing, is people that are maybe not as educated to the health benefits of these so-called drugs, which I don't consider them drugs. I consider them medicine, which is how we all should consider them. Now, yes, do people sit around in homes and smoke weed and all that kind of stuff and, what's up, dude? Yes. Okay. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the health benefits of it. Me, I don't smoke weed. I haven't smoked weed since 8th grade. Okay. I didn't like it. For one, it burnt my throat. For two, after about 15, 20 minutes, I got paranoid, hungry, and tired, and it sucked. But I was too paranoid. I was too paranoid to eat, but I was too hungry to go to sleep. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like stuck in limbo, right? In class, like, this sucks. But as time went on, obviously an 8th grader experiencing with something like that doesn't know what to expect is a nightmare. So about 20 years ago, I started studying, edibles and all this kind of stuff, and levels of edibles and different strands and oxygen molecules on things. I can get super nerdy with it, y'all. But for what I do and for what I make all kinds of edibles. I make all kinds of stuff. And for me, it does me good, because I've had a lot of surgeries on my body, and especially during wintertime, I'm in pain a lot of times because of all the surgeries I've had, the metal that's in my body, probably arthritis through the roof, you know what I mean? So plus when I was younger and playing football, I got hooked on painkillers, and that's a bad road to go down, boy. So anyway, so yes, if anybody would like to speak about it, just message me, let me know. But what I wanted to do is I want to start off the day with some positive news, y'all. Okay? Y'all with me on this positive news tip? Okay. So, why gratitude is good for us, and 5 ways to practice this winter. Okay? So for many, this coming winter is tinged with sadness or anxiety, and science shows that while it's no fix-all, nurturing gratitude can help by shifting our attention to what's positive. For some, it's instinct. For others, it's a habit. But giving thanks is good for our bodies, minds, and our relationships. Right or wrong? Right? Giving thanks when someone... So for me, I don't do things to get a thanks or to get praise. I just do them because it's in my nature. But when someone shows gratitude, it shows appreciation, right? It's a symbiosis of energy exchange that happens to where both parties walk away feeling great because somebody did something for somebody and then someone was grateful for it. It's one of the simplest things in this world to show gratitude, but a lot of people don't because we get stuck in our own minds and our own negativity sometimes, and we just don't exude it as some should. Scientists at the University of California, Berkeley, who studied more than 1,000 people between the ages of 8 and 80. I don't know how you test an 8-year-old, but whatever. Found that those who consistently practice gratitude enjoyed a host of benefits. Physically, these people had stronger immune systems, were less bothered by aches and pains, enjoyed better sleep. They were less bothered by aches and pains because not all of them played football their whole entire life. At the same time, psychological benefits include feeling more joy and pleasure, which is always awesome, experiencing more optimism, and being happier. On the social side, they were more helpful, generous, and compassionate, and they even reported feeling less lonely and isolated. How spot on is that right about now? Right? There's tons of people feeling lonely and isolated right now. On the flip side of that, I'm going to talk about this just for a second. On the flip side of loneliness and being isolated, it might sound strange, but me personally believe that spending time with yourself, at least just a little bit a day, is healthy. It's scary for a lot of people because they don't want to spend time with themselves because their mind goes to things that they don't want to deal with, or their mind goes to things that they don't want to think about, which is another thing psychedelics help with. Just throwing that in there. And so, when you spend time with yourself, now people say, well, if you spend too much time with yourself, you go crazy and all this other stuff. It's not that you go crazy. It's that you start to realize, dang, why was I worried about this? Or why was I worried about that when that's really not important? It's not, why am I putting myself through all this, BS or whatever? And so it's one of those things, right? So, anyway, why is this so powerful, y'all? Gratitude allows, you guys got to read along too. Stingy, just reading it all by myself. Why is it so powerful? Gratitude allows us to celebrate the present. It diverts our attention from toxic negative emotions such as envy, resentment, and debilitating regret. And science shows that grateful people have a great sense of self-worth. Researchers even suggest that grateful people are better positioned to recover from serious trauma, adversity, and suffering. My personal opinion is because it's a mental mind frame. Their mental mind frame is in a better place. If the prospect of the colder, darker, in the UK at least, months ahead feels particularly daunting this year, here are 5 suggestions to help nurture gratitude for yourself and others this winter. This is where I go to, guys, positivenews.com. It's awesome. I love it because a lot of news likes to put scary stuff in front of you, and it keeps your mind at a certain thing. So let me catch up on chat. I don't want to get too far behind on chat. You don't want to get too far behind on chat, y'all. Let me know if the music's good too. If the music not good, but I mean if the levels are good, if you guys can still hear it, because I don't want you just to hear my voice. Who wants to do that? Let's see. Oh, my son has to get. Yeah. See in it? Absolutely. Mel's. Absolutely. So the first thing is, guys, is let me transition. Ooh, that's weird. Huh? It just keeps going and going. Ooh. So the first thing is keep a gratitude diary. Now, basically, some people, I used to journal. I used to journal when I was trying to figure certain things out. And it's good to journal. If you do journal, keep journaling. If you don't, and you find yourself just with confusion and you find yourself in a funk more than not, journaling's good. Journaling is a good thing to do to kind of get your thoughts right, to kind of compartmentalize what's going on in your mind, right? So, because in my mind, I have 1,000,001 things flying around constantly. And it's almost like when you build a shelf, like a shoe shelf. You ever seen a shoe shelf? Right? Big old square or rectangle, and it has little squares inside of it. You put shoes or hats or scarves or whatever you want to put in them. That's what we need to build in our minds, so we can make a more informed decision on everyday decisions, right? So the theory here is that no matter how difficult life can be sometimes and feel, there's always something to be thankful for. Simply jot these things down. It's healthy, guys. I know this sounds very like, well, whatever. Being grateful and thankful for simple things in life. Listen to me right now. Let me switch this. Listen to what I'm about to tell you. We all got to wake up this morning. If you didn't, you wouldn't be watching this right now. And for people that see this on YouTube later, be grateful, because if you didn't wake up, you wouldn't be watching me right now. Not that you woke up to watch me. I'm just saying you wouldn't even be able to in the first place. And that's something in itself to be grateful for. Something in itself to be grateful for. In fact, on Facebook, what I used to do every other day is I would post kind of motivational. I don't want to say inspirational stuff, because inspiration is different to everybody. So is motivation too, but when you look at things from a different perspective that sometimes you're not used to thinking about, or you're not used to thinking about or whatever, it's different. So I used to post these positive things, change your perspective a little. That changes your perspective a little bit. Many people, I didn't do it for, oh, Dwayne, you're this, you're that. No, it's not about me. It's not about me. It's about reaching those people that it's just hard for them right now on their own to find any kind of positivity, because they're surrounded by negativity, right? And so I feel it's my job on earth not only to bring joy and not only to live cordially and coexist with everybody on the planet, but why just coexist? Why not, if someone else is not as happy, or if someone else isn't as joyful maybe as you are on certain things, if they want to talk about it, allow them to talk about it and work it out with them. I think one of the things that's kind of messed up right now in this world is not enough people listen. Not enough people take the time out to listen to others. And I know we're in this texting generation. We're in this texting message generation and all that kind of stuff. But you know how powerful actually calling somebody is? Call them. Listen to their voice. Sometimes people just need a call. And talk for about 10 or 15 minutes. It will change someone's day. I promise you. Pick up the phone and say, hey, I was thinking about you. Just want to know how you're doing. A lot of people are like, well, I don't know that person too well and all that kind of stuff. Don't call the people you don't know. Call the people you do know. Call the people that you know are maybe going through it, or the last time you talked to them, they were going through it, right? That's what I'm talking about. Let's see exactly right. There's been days I had to force myself to find just one thing to be grateful for, that I'm grateful for. Yes, absolutely. And when I wake up, it's like I said earlier, when I go to sleep, you prepare yourself, right? Or I do anyway. I prepare myself for sleep. And then when I wake up, I do the same thing. I wake up, take about 25, 30 minutes and collect my thoughts and put myself in just in a positive, almost like a suit that you wear. It's my superhero suit. And now I will tell you, I don't wake up every single day feeling super heroic. Some days I wake up and I'm like, oh my gosh, but I wake up. So, that everything else is icing on the cake. Everything else is up to us, in my opinion. So that's, yes, I don't journal, but for people that do journal, or haven't journaled forever or whatever, never, listen, just start it. Don't look at yourself as being, a lot of people are worried about, oh, that's weak and I don't need to do that and I don't need to do this. Listen, get over yourself. Get over yourself. Get over yourself. So, number 2, take a gratitude walk. Now this works for some people. Some people, it doesn't. Just go for a stroll, clear your head. Plus, when the sun is out, you get the vitamin D, and that's good for you too. Procrastinating gratitude. Wait, is that what it says? Oh, practicing. Procrastinating. It's weird. I don't know if y'all can see it here, but on mine it's weird. It looks weird. Anyway, practicing gratitude has multiple benefits, and so does walking, of course, which boosts well-being, reduce stress, and helps with problem solving, to name just 3. So together, they make for a powerful combination. Take 20 minutes or whatever you can spare out of your day to walk somewhere that you enjoy, with an intention to be mindful. Okay? Your intention is to be mindful. It's like set and setting. When I go to sleep at night, it's set and setting. I prepare myself to be mindful of what either I want answers to or clear my head or whatever. As you go, either write down or just think over, what am I grateful for in my life? Some people take their gratitude walks with a partner, taking turns to share as they go. So that's cool too. If you have somebody, go for a walk. If you have a friend that you trust and you want to speak with, go for a walk. That's another thing that you can do. Give thanks online. If it feels right for you, why not share examples of what you're grateful for on social media? It could be a daily photograph of what makes your life worth living, a weekly reflection on what went right, or perhaps you can take time before 2021 rolls around to post what has kept you going during this tumultuous year. Sharing online in this way could encourage others to take up their own valuable gratitude habits, not to mention going some way to counteract the anxiety-provoking negativity that can too readily surface online today. Practice everyday gratitude. Just practice gratitude every single day, right? I think we're getting the point on this. Gratitude is something that gratitude just, because in turn, when you fill someone else's cup up, you're filling your own cup up, right? I often say that my positivity cup runneth over. And some of my friends get annoyed by how positive I am at certain times, because they'll message me or they'll call me, and it's almost like they want to stay negative. And I'm like, well, and I never judge them. I never judge them. I have one friend in particular that when this person messages me or whatever the case may be, they have concerns, right? Some would call it complaining, some wouldn't, some whatever. It doesn't matter to me. They just need to get something off their chest, right? And a lot of times, especially when it comes to women, a lot of times you women already know the answer. You already know what to do. You just want to be listened to. You just need to get it off your chest. You don't even want opinions. You don't want someone's thoughts. You just want to get it out, because that's how you need to have it. 1,000% understandable. I never give my opinion unless I'm asked. And so some of my friends, they ask, and I tell them, be careful. Be careful if you want my honest truth, which is always honest, because it's not up to me whether you accept it or not. It's up to you whether you accept it or not. But I'm always going to tell you the honest truth. And some of my friends that I have, this one in particular, is almost like they want to stay in that negativity bubble, right? When you try to give them a different perspective, it's always, yeah, but. It's one of those type of people, right? Yeah, but. And I'll say, okay, if there's always going to be a yeah, but, how bad do you really want to get through whatever it is that you're getting through, because you can't avoid it, right? A lot of people, they numb it, right? They'll go and they'll either get super hammered, or they'll go get super high, or get hooked on drugs. They try to numb the pain. There's always a reason for it, rather than just deal with it, so it's not even anything you have to deal with any longer. Some things are very painful to deal with. And you know, some of y'all could be going through some bad shit right now that you just don't know how or see a way out of right now, though. That's just right now. It's not forever. It's not forever. So, but one thing that thrusts gratitude, and one thing that helps you, is the art of self-kindness, right? And how it helps you cope with stress, how it helps you get through adversity. It's self-love, self-kindness. It's self-affirmations. A lot of people don't like self-affirmations because it makes them feel weak, or it makes them feel like, why am I doing this? That's all ego, man. That's all ego. And unfortunately, a lot of people in this world, they thrive off of ego. Ego's not something that you should be thriving off of, in my opinion. If it works for you, hey, great, have at it. Let's see, Sandra D. I do my gratitude routine in the morning, as well as my releasing all negative energy that could be attached to me, asking God, His love, His light, to go before me and show me His way. So my day starts off with a gratitude, heart, and positive soul. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. I love it too, Mels. I love it. I love it too. That's awesome. That's awesome. And if you can get in the habit of doing that, if people can get in the habit of doing that, that's amazing. I would continue to keep doing that. Speaking of which, yesterday in chat on my brother from another mother, I love him to death. On Biggs's stream yesterday, we were speaking of empaths and empathy and being empathetic. Some of y'all was like, well, I'm an empath too, and maybe that's the reason why I attract all these narcissistic people into my life, regardless whether it's a romantic relationship, regardless whether it's friendships, regardless whether it's co-workers, whatever. Okay? I'm gonna tell you right now, it's not because you're an empathic person. That your empathicness, I don't even know if that's a word. Your empath, I just said it. Empathicness, I don't know. It's not a word. That's why I can't say it. Anyway, because you're an empath doesn't correlate with why you attract people into your life. That's not it. Now, of course, there's different variables. There's a lot of different variables. How were you raised? What did you experience growing up? What things have you seen that influences the way you think now, right? Throughout life, our experiences and things like that. Back in the day, not too long ago, women were to be seen and not heard, right? In the household. Men would come over, and sometimes the wives wouldn't even be loud in the living room when all the men were in there talking. And the husbands were okay with it. And the women, that's just how they were, right? That wasn't too long ago, y'all. It just wasn't too long ago. And if you have a grandmother or something like that was in that situation, and then that grandmother has your mom or whatever, and they're at the tail end of that, and then they have you, some of them don't break the cycle, some of them want to break the cycle, but there's different variables, right? That's just one variable. It could be you grew up in a broken household where they were screaming and yelling all the time, and love wasn't necessarily something that you got shown as far as what depicts love. And so growing up, you get sometimes confused on what love is, or what it should feel like, or whatnot, right? Some of us grew up watching our moms get beat, right? Go through abusive relationships, get yelled at, mentally abused, physically abused, psychologically abused. And so because you're witness to that, you're either going to be more apt to accept it yourself and attract someone who does that, or you're going to recognize it and be like, no, I'm not dealing with it, right? But as far as attracting the wrong men, no. In my personal opinion, especially nowadays, where we live in a culture where it's swipe left, swipe right, you match, and people just link up to hook up. It's a very hookup culture, which sucks. But if you're somebody who just likes to sleep with people, cool, man. You ain't hurting nobody. Go ahead and just sleep with whoever you want to sleep with. Yes, there's a stigma that comes with that. And is the stigma fair? No. But at the same time, you have to look at the people that are pushing that stigma on you. Are they very, like, you know, a real friend's going to be like, maybe you need to slow down. But it all depends on how your life is. If you're not someone who wants a relationship and you just want the actual, sometimes it's just physical, right? Sometimes it's just a physical feeling that you need to have that night, and that's all it is. And you like to have that physical feeling quite a bit. Fine, right? But when you base that off of relationships and you try to make a relationship out of it, that's not going to work. And I'm not saying anybody here is doing that, and I'm not saying everybody I know does that. I'm just saying it's a variable, right? In my opinion, the reason why a lot of women attract the wrong men is, one, they don't value themselves. They say they do, but they really don't. Two, they ignore red flags. And I don't care how small the flag is. I don't care how big the red flag is. It gets ignored. They just say, yeah, that's okay. That's just him. I'll deal with it. Or another thing is, loneliness makes you do a lot of stupid shit. Some people, there's a difference between being alone and lonely. They're two different things, right? I spend a lot of time by myself. I'm alone quite a bit. Am I lonely? Not at all. It's a difference, right? Some people, for whatever reason, feel the need that they have to be with somebody, and if they're not with somebody, there's something wrong with them. That's not true. That's not true, right? And again, there's a lot of different variables, but in my opinion, a huge reason why women end up being with jerks and assholes and narcissistic people and abusers is because they don't value themselves, and they don't want to speak the truth. It's like people that get married super fast and then end up in a divorce, and or you get into a relationship where you can't truly be yourself, because eventually that little tiny problem is going to grow into a big problem. You can't be yourself, right? And then somebody cheats, and then they find out, and then they break up, and now there's turmoil and all this other stuff, and that cheating reinforces about how you already think about you. Oh, he cheated because I'm not good enough, or he cheated because I'm not pretty enough, or she cheated because I don't have money, or I don't have a nice house or a car, or she cheated because this guy's better looking than me. It has nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with that. That person was tainted already before they even met you. The thing about it is, there's a generation of people that don't spend enough time with themselves to figure out who they really are, to figure out what they really want in life. And it's okay if you don't know at this point in time what you want in real life, but do something to work towards that. You can't sit in limbo, right? You can't sit in limbo. And if you're going through something, you can't dwell on it either. You have to do what you got to do to get past it. You can't just every single day relive, and relive. Sometimes it's hard depending on the traumatic situation. I get it. But you have to at least do something to get you past it. Again, that's just my opinion. Just my opinion. Let me catch up on chat real quick. Mel's, here's what I came for. Yes. I know, Mel's. My thing is this. If I always told myself, if I was a female. Now, when someone says this, if you're a female, I will never know what it's like to be a female. Okay? So, having said that, I want to preface this by saying I will never know what it's like to be a female. Never. But I do know what it's like to just settle for bullshit. I do know what it's like to not be able to express my full thoughts on things when it comes to relationships. And that's just me. And that's not a man or a woman thing. That's just a thing, period. In my personal opinion, I think females and men get caught up on, for one, the loneliness. Loneliness makes you do stupid shit. For two, the situation that you're in, right? I'm not saying bars and clubs are a bad place to meet people. I have plenty of friends that end up getting married and live awesome lives that they met in a bar or a club. But there's a certain percentage of people that go out just to have fun and they want to have fun. And then there's a certain percentage of people that go out to get smashed so they don't have to think about their problems. I understand both sides. I get it. But when someone who goes out to get hammered to numb the pain from whatever it is they're going through, when they go out and they meet a person who is lonely and they end up finding each other, that's a bad combination. It's a bad combination. Super bad. And then everyone's so quick to rush on Facebook, in a relationship with so-and-so and this, that, and the other, which is another thing. Stop putting your business on social media. Like, why are you putting your business? And then people get mad like, well, why is this person in my business? Well, because you put it on social media, right? As you can tell, I don't do drama. I don't do drama at all on any level whatsoever, especially if the drama, there's nothing getting done to stop the drama. It's repetitive and perpetual, and it almost works my nerves a little bit. But I will say this: nobody on this earth is perfect. I'm so far from perfect. I don't even want to be perfect. That's too much pressure. We all fall short every single day. Okay? We all fall short. It's not about being perfect. It's about being better than the day you were before. And whatever your version of perfect is, that's your version. Whatever the thing is you can't think perfection is, especially with women that like to compare themselves with other women. If it's a physical thing, oh, that girl has a nice ass, her boobs are perfect, she has no wrinkles, this, that, and the other. Oh, that leads to a lot of things. There's a show I watch called Hooked on the Look, and it's all different types of people, men, women, whatever, transgender, whatever. And there's this one lady on this episode. She's had 256 plastic surgeries. She's pretty much a Barbie doll, and it's so sad because that comes from somewhere. That feeling of not feeling good enough comes from somewhere. And the problem is people don't want to sit down with themselves to figure out where that feeling came from. Now, my personal opinion, or my personal upbringing, I was put in sports at a young age. I happen to be one of those athletic big guys, right? When people see me, they're just like, oh, he's a big dude. But I was like one of those athletic big guys. I can move pretty well. or used to be able to anyway. And so my dad put me in sports because when you're a kid and you're put in position to find your confidence, a lot of people weren't in that position. Again, some people come from broken homes. Some people come from homes that maybe weren't the healthiest. So they retreated into themselves and they become very, very antisocial, or they become very withdrawn and very on edge, filled with anxiety, because it all stemmed from when they were younger. But I think society, and this is another thing, a lot of my female friends say they feel pressure from social media to look a certain way or be a certain way, and on my last stream, I asked the question: is it really social media that puts pressure on people to look a certain way or be a certain way, or is it in your own head? Like, for instance, ladies, if you go on Instagram and you see one of these Instagram models that you think are perfect, that you think you want to be like, perfect body, whatever your version of a perfect body is, and because you see that all the time, or maybe on commercials on TV, or maybe on shows or whatever, they always pick a certain specific looking girl. If that gives you pressure to look like that, or to feel that, or not to feel that way, but if you watching that makes you feel like you're pressured to look like that, that has nothing to do with what you're watching. It has absolutely nothing to do with what you're watching. It has to do with how you feel about yourself. Okay? In my last stream, I said when I was younger, I wanted to be 6'6", 260 pounds. Because at the time, one of my favorite football players named Jason Taylor, you can look him up. He's handsome as hell, but I wanted to look just like him. Why? Because at the time, it was like he got everything, right? And later on in life, I found out his life wasn't so great, which is another thing why we need to quit comparing ourselves to people. A lot of these people on Instagram and Facebook that are always posting these photos and they're like, oh, you're so beautiful and all that. They do it because they're actually super insecure and they need that validation from other people. It's empty validation, right? It all ties into our decision making when it comes to being with somebody who we're with and it doesn't work out. And it's always like, oh, why did I do this again? There must be something wrong with me. And it's not that there's something wrong with you. It's that you haven't spent enough time with yourself to figure out who you really are. And if you can't figure out who you really are, like truly figure out who you are. Don't just say, oh, I know who I am. I'm talking about truly figure out who you are. Once you figure out who you are, you can figure out what you do like and what you put up with and what you won't put up with, right? I have one female friend who she doesn't play at all. She doesn't play. Like when guys come up to her and try to talk all slick, she'll put them in their place. There's not enough women to do that. Because of the simple fact that women and men feel bad about themselves most of the time when someone gives them attention, even if it's like negative, or not negative, but even if it's like someone who their agenda might not be on the up and up, and they give you a compliment, you're like, oh, he thinks I'm pretty? No, he just wants to sleep with you. But because of how you already feel about yourself, you accept that compliment and it fills you up because it's empty validation, right? So when dudes come over to my friend and they start trying to talk this pimp game and try to be slick dudes and all that, she puts them right in their place. She does not play. She does not fuck around. She doesn't. She doesn't. She refuses. And I don't think there's enough of that. Like if I was a female, this is what I was going to say, and I went off on a tangent like I usually do. If I was a woman, I would be like Medea. I would. Medea don't fuck around. She does not fuck around. But because I can say that because I'm a man and I know what other tools think like. Not that I was a tool, because I've never been a tool. But I hear your guys' boyfriends or the dudes that you're going kicking it with, when you guys go to the bathroom, I see what they do. I hear their conversations. And it just boggles my mind how sometimes men and women, they just ignore red flags. They just ignore it. And again, it's out of loneliness, right? It's out of not feeling 1000% with yourself. So you crave this empty validation. It's one of the reasons why, like, there's this site that my friend told me about a long time ago. It was called hotornot.com. And it was a rating system, which right there is a no-no, right? Let's say you put a photo up and the rating's 1 to 10 and you just average like a 3 or 4 by all these other people that are just judging you based on how you look. They don't know what your likes are. They don't know that you're a cool ass person. They don't know that you know how to draw really well. They don't know that you're actually a great person, because it's all superficial bullshit, right? So you looking at these numbers like, damn, I never get anything higher than a 5. I must be ugly, or I must be not worthy. And then you just repeat that shit to yourself every single day. And then you start believing it based on other people's empty validation of you that don't even know you. It's sad. It's sad because we put ourselves in our own funk, y'all. I got to catch up real quick. Hold on. Let me catch up. Bingo. Loneliness. Not myself, but a few of my friends. This is from not myself, but a few of my friends drive me bananas because they don't ever give themselves time to love thyself. Either way, either they run back to a toxic relationship or jump into another one right away. Yes, because they don't want to deal with all the bullshit that they dealt with before and get over it and learn from it and then move on to a better situation. They don't. So they hop into some more toxicity and bullshit because you know why? It's a security blanket. They already know what to expect. They already know. They get it. It's almost like you get addicted to the drama because you already know what to expect. It's a safety blanket, right? I mean, as humans, we don't like change. Sandra D, some live for the drama and attention. Yes, ma'am. It takes me way too long to finally love myself for me. Wrinkled, scars, dents, and all. Yeah. It takes a long time because the thing is we see all those superficial things, right? So, for instance, that's a good example, Sandra D. That's a good example. When you see a car on the road and it's just beat up, like my Yukon is beat the hell up. It's beat up. It doesn't look very nice. But I didn't get it because it looks nice. I got it because, I mean, it looked nice when I very first had it. Just over time, you get dents. It gets hit here, a door ding there. You run into something or something runs into you, whatever, right? But it's what's on the inside of that damn vehicle. The engine works fine. You got to rotate the tires every once in a while, change the oil. But the outside doesn't matter. The outside makes no difference. You didn't get to drive down the street because your car looks nice. You got to drive down the street because you take care of the engine on the inside, right? So that's another thing that goes with society, because we have wrinkles, because we have this or that, and we look at ourselves in the mirror and we see our own flaws. And some of the flaws we see doesn't even cross people's minds, but we see it because it's us, right? We're the ones who put power to the word flaw anyway in the first place. Why is it a flaw that we have wrinkles? Why? We give power to that, right? We give power to, if we see a commercial with some chick who looks perfect and that bugs us, that's not the commercial's fault. That's our fault. Why is it that when we see that, it triggers something in us to feel a certain way? That's what you need to figure out. Not why they're showing this bullshit on TV. You need to figure out why the bullshit on TV, the superficial bullshit, bugs you. That's what you need. In my opinion. True. Beautiful things have dents and scratches too. 1000%. Beautiful things do have scratches and dents. Some of the most beautiful things in this world have scratches and dents. It means they've been through some shit. It means they've been through life. Mom says some of us have enough of those dents to feel like we have been in a destruction derby, but some of those were winners in that competition too. Absolutely, 1,000%, man. I don't know anybody in this world who's made it through without a dent. I don't know. There's nobody. There's nobody. I don't care what your financial status is. I don't care how you were raised. I don't care where you're from. Everybody has dents. Everybody has things that they have either gone through and overcame or gone through and still going through, right? Everybody. It's just the way it is. But when it comes to females, not just females, when it comes to relationships in general, you have to be honest with yourself. You have to be honest with yourself. When you go out to a club or a bar and you get attention from these tool of a men. Now, I'm not, as I said before, not everybody that goes out to a bar or a club that's a guy is a tool. It might be their first time ever going out in a long time. You don't know. But there always is that percentage, right? There has to be a percentage. So when you see this guy come up and he happens to be good looking and all that kind of stuff or whatever, and he gives you some attention, it's not warranted. For one, it's not warranted. When someone comes up to you and says, "Oh, you're so beautiful," this, that, and the other, you can tell if it's genuine or not. If it's genuine, then it's warranted. If it's not genuine, it's not warranted, because they're just trying to get something from you. And again, with people that don't spend enough time with themselves, give themselves enough self-gratification, enough self-affirmation that you are good enough. You are good enough. You don't need somebody to complete you. You complete you, right? When people say, and I said this before on my other streams, a lot of people say, "Oh, he completes me," or "she completes me." Nah, it shouldn't really be like, in my opinion, it shouldn't really be like that. You should already be complete, right? You shouldn't look for somebody to complete you, because what is it that you're missing that you're not complete? What is it that you could do yourself to complete yourself, to make yourself complete? That's what you need to go through. It's like, we're the ones who give power, y'all. We're the ones who give power to all this bullshit. It's crazy. It's crazy, and it's a vicious cycle. It's a vicious cycle. And as much as I'm irritated that the whole nightlife scene is shut down financially, it irritates me because, of course, that's how I made my living, right? But I'm glad kind of the nightlife has kind of got shut down a little bit, because it gives people this time that people have had in isolation. There's a lot of people that have realized either how awesome they really are, or realized, man, I really need to take a look at my life choices. I'm not here to tell anybody how to live their life, because nobody should. Nobody should have that much power over somebody. But what I will say is, if you don't know why you do something, you need to figure out why. If you don't know why watching whatever it is that you're watching makes you feel a certain way, in a negative way, find out why. There's always going to be Instagram girls, Instagram guys. There's always going to be, these people that for some reason always seems that their life is perfect. Everyone's life is perfect on Instagram and Facebook, because they don't really post the bad shit in their life, right? And what irritates a lot of me, this is how far society has gotten away from self-love. When people post a photo, when it comes to women, well, when it comes to men, when a guy posts a photo and there's some kind of a filter, or there's some kind of something that they always do in their photos to let you know that they're okay, or they let you know that they're awesome or whatever. And when it comes to females, they have to put a hashtag, no makeup, or they got to be like, they have to say or type, no makeup today, or sorry, no makeup. Like, who cares? Like, the makeup doesn't make you who you are. You're a beautiful person regardless. regardless. Now, if you're someone who just likes to play with makeup, and I get it, women like to feel, when you do put makeup on, it should be to make yourself feel good, not to get attention from other people, because that can backfire on you too. Imagine you taking an hour and a half, 2 hours getting ready. You got your hair did, got your nice outfit on, got your nails done, got your makeup looking right, lips looking right? And then you go out and you get no attention. What does that do to you? If you did all that to get attention and you don't get attention, guess what that does? It fucks you up in the head. So you go home feeling worse than you did before you left the house. Whereas if you just get dolled up for you and you look in yourself in the mirror and you're like, damn, oh, I'm handsome, or damn, I'm fine. You do it for you, regardless of the attention you're going to get when you go out. That's where you need to get to. You need to get to a level like that versus a level of I'm going to get dolled up because I need attention. I want attention. You need to get dolled up for yourself. For yourself. Not for attention of others. Put on that dress. If you want to wear a short skirt and it makes you feel sexy, make it feel sexy for you. Don't make it feel sexy for some dude who doesn't deserve to even look at you in the first place. That's my point. That's my point. Now, they may compliment you, but you need to be a whole ass. Yes. Very true, Mills. Very true. Now, that's not to say I'm trying to tell y'all not to go out and have a good time and go do what you do. Again, if you're someone who just likes to sleep with people for the simple fact of the physical feeling of it, have at it. Be safe. Do what you do. But if you're someone who goes and you sleep around with people and you don't know why, you just always end up sleeping with somebody on a first date or this, that, and the other, that's something you need to spend some time with yourself and evaluate, what am I doing this for? Like, what is it that makes me do this, right? So, anyway, that's my opinion on the whole, why do I attract narcissistic people and all this other stuff, man. Just spend some more time with yourself and figure out what it is in life you really, really like, and you won't put up with the bullshit. You just won't do it. You just won't do it. Again, I spend a lot of time alone by myself, but it doesn't mean that I'm lonely. Because I'm not lonely. I'm a happy-go-lucky person. Again, not perfect at all. We all go through shit. Especially a lot of us who are single parents who have kids. We go through a lot of shit, right? And then if you have kids that are teenagers and more specifically late teens, early 20s, could you imagine being late teens, early 20s? Some of y'all are early 20s or mid 20s, but could you imagine? Well, actually, y'all did live through this. See, my generation was the last generation to be around to know what life was like before the internet, right? So a lot of these kids are growing up on social media, and parents are in competition with social media. Now, there's many things about social media that's positive, if it's used that way. But there's a lot of things on social media that are just toxic, man, and it makes you feel bad about yourself. You know, I guess what I'm trying to say is, know who you are. And when you defeat those demons that's inside yourself, everything on the outside doesn't matter. Nothing else can hurt you. Nothing else can hurt you. If you fix on the inside what's hurting you, nothing on the outside can. Yeah, it's just what it is. And again, I can't remember who said it. Maybe it was Mom who said it. Some people are addicted to drama. They love drama. They love it. And they keep it perpetuating. They keep it going. Instead of moving on from a situation, they just stick in it. And every single day, it's this. Instead of planning, okay, how am I going to get away from this? What am I going to do to put myself in a better position? Right? And then there's some people who love to just stir the pot because they like drama, which I will never understand. I mean, I do understand it, but drama is just not something people should perpetuate. It's not something people should live in. You can't live in negativity, right? It's like violence. Trying to solve violence with violence just begets more violence. So trying to solve negativity with negativity just creates more negativity. It's just, that's what it is, guys. It's what it is. But anyway, that felt good. That felt good. That's another thing. Talking things out. Getting things off your chest. Like I said earlier, there's a lot of men and women that when they do get things off their chest, they don't want opinions. They don't want answers. They're not looking for answers. 9 times out of 10, especially you ladies, because I truly believe there's a higher percentage of women that already know what they need to do. They already know that they're messing up. They already know things they need to improve on. They don't want opinions. They just need to get it out. They just need someone to simply listen. Just simply listen. I get it. I get it 100%. And it's also easier to talk to somebody who you feel is not going to judge you for the choices you make. I have female friends that they make some of the worst choices in the world. But I don't judge them for it. I don't judge them for it because there's a reason why they made that decision. I want to help them make less of those decisions. I don't like to see my friends in pain. I don't like to see my friends go through shit. Sometimes in life we have to because that's how we learn. But I'm talking about when you go through something and you don't learn and it just keeps repeating itself. For instance, Mel's like you have friends that just hop right into another relationship before they get over their other one. And so by the time you're on your 4th, 5th, 6th boyfriend, you have the baggage from your 1st, 2nd, and 3rd that you still haven't dealt with. And it's not fair to your new relationship to bring all that bullshit in. It's not fair. It's not fair at all. And so I would just be 100% real with your friends and be like, hey, the reason why you keep getting in these toxic relationships because you already know what to expect. You don't expect it to work out in the first place. But since that's what you're used to, it's a comfort blanket. And so you accept it. That's just my opinion. But Sandra D. Also, there's so many great podcasts available for self-help. For me personally, I found some amazing professionals who helped me. I listen to and learn from their teachings. Dwayne is also a great teacher. He is spot on. Listen to him. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, I love the positive vibes and hearing others' outlook on things I've overcome is a great reminder of how strong I really have become. See, that's the key, right? That's the key, is you cannot forget how strong you really are. You can't forget. Like, we are so strong, y'all. We're super strong. We're so strong. You guys have no idea, right? We're resilient. I want you to think about the hardest thing you've ever had to go through in life. Think about it right now. Think about it right now. The hardest thing that you thought you'd never get through. Maybe you're going through it now, right? Think of something you never thought you would get through and you got through it because you're strong, right? You might be dealing with some bullshit right now, but you know it's temporary. It's not going to be forever. And we have the power. We do, not the situation. The situation don't have no power over us. We give everything power. We give words power. We give situations power. We give all this power. We give it. So why not give power to yourself? Give power to yourself. We're so strong, y'all. It blows my mind on how strong we are. You know, physical strength is something different, right? People would look at me and be like, oh, he's strong. That dude's strong. You know, whatever. He got these muscles and this, that, and the other. Man, that's not anything. That's just health. I'm just trying to be here longer for my kids. Strength is here. This is where strength is. strength is right here. It's mental. And right now, the point that a lot of our society is in, our mental strength right now is not where it should be, y'all. That's when we got to lift each other up. That's when we got to be there for each other. That's when we have to be there for one another to lift each other up when someone falls down. It's just what it is. And we all fall down. We all do. Some of us fall down and stay down for a little while because we start to feel sorry for ourselves, right? We don't want to look in the mirror. We don't want to see our flaws, quote unquote flaws. We don't want to deal with the decisions that we made. Sometimes we have guilt. A lot of people live with guilt. I have female friends that have kids with maybe not the best like person in the world they should have had kids with, and they feel guilty. They feel guilty when their son's or daughter's father's not around and he's an asshole, and they're like, damn, this is my fault. They feel like shit because their kid has another spouse that might not be the best for him. It's my fault. It's my fault. Quit telling yourself that. You can only control and do what you can do as a single parent if you are a single parent. That person was already messed up or whatever. That person was going through things before you even met that person. And it works with guys too. Guys have some pretty psycho, I don't like to say babies' mamas because it's disrespectful. Guys also have mothers of their children that might not be so mentally stable. 9 times out of 10, she was like that before you met her. Okay? Guys do it too. Guys do it too. Okay? Now, on the flip side, because you know I got to play devil's advocate because I try to see things from all angles. On the flip side, you have to also understand that somebody might not be a good parent. That doesn't make them a bad person. It just makes them not a very good parent. That's all it is. I have one of those. Not necessarily the best parent, but she's a good person. Just not a very good parent. There's a difference, right? But I never think I'm above anybody else to look down upon them and be like, I'm a better parent than you. It's not about that. It's not about that at all. It has to do about some people just aren't good parents. They're good people, just not good parents. That's all. And I think once we realize that, oh, okay, this person's not going to be the way that I would like them to be. I accept it. It's fine. It's fine. And you move. Not physically move, obviously, but you move on. And you realize this person's never going to be the person I need them to be. Not for me, but for my kid or kids. It's just what it is. They're not a good parent. Now, it could be that they're not a good parent and not a good person. That's a totally different situation. What's going on? Oh, shit. Yoda in the building. What's good? What's good? Thank you for coming in and chilling. I just got done kind of giving my opinions on certain things, man. Not necessarily the right or wrong answers. Not trying to give answers, just my opinion on stuff. Yeah, so if you're out there, ladies, men, or whoever, whatever you identify with, if you're going through some shit in life, realize that even though someone might not be going through your exact situation, we're all going through something at all points in life, regardless whether it's something positive or something negative. But the fact of the matter is, you can always turn a negative into a positive depending on your perspective. Again, never would I ever tell anybody how to live their life. I just wouldn't do it. But at the same time, there's examples of things that you can show people or let them know what they can do to, get their life, quote unquote, back on track or whatever the case may be. It's insane. This world is crazy, man. This world is crazy. But the most beautiful thing about this world is we all come from different roads. We're all on the same road map, but we're all just on different roads. And one road isn't better than the next road because to me, it's all equal. To me, it's all equal. We're in charge and we're in control of how we want our day to go. We're in control of how we react to things. Now, granted, Miss Nolan takes care of some people that they don't have control of their emotions, and we already talked about that, and that's unfortunate. I'm simply talking about people that choose, because it is a choice. It is a choice. There are people that choose to remain in a negative situation. And then there's people who see that negative situation and say, I'm done with it. And I'm going to do what I can to move on from this negative situation. And then there's some that just don't. They just keep repeating every single day the same thing every single day, and nothing gets solved. And part of that, a lot of people say, well, people that have a big heart and they care a lot, this is 100% true. There are some people who maybe care and love super hard and a lot when maybe they shouldn't, in certain aspects, right? Once you've given all you have given, there comes a point to where you don't have enough in your cup for you because you were too busy pouring it in another cup to fill someone else's cup up, right? But when that person keeps taking that cup and throwing it out, you got to stop filling their cup up. You got to stop. And you have to do what you have to do to keep your cup at least half full, right? And I know it's easier said than done, guys. It's easier said than done. I don't have all the answers. This is just my perspective and my opinion. We're all beautiful. We're all strong. We're all strong. And we just forget sometimes how strong we are depending on what the situation is that we're going through. And right now that the state that our world is in, not just our country, but the world, it gets overwhelming, right? When you think about everything on a grand scale, on a whole, it gets overwhelming, which is why we need to worry about what we can control. And it's not even control. We need to worry about ourselves as far as making sure we're okay up here. And if we're okay up here and we have friends that aren't okay up here, we need to be there for those people who aren't okay up there. As human beings, that's what we do. There's some cultures that when an elder gets to a certain point, that elder moves in with the oldest child. And they take care. They take care of the elder. And then when that elder passes on and the oldest child gets to be an elder, the next takes care of that one. And the next takes care of that one. And that's not just, that's in some cultures, but that should be on certain levels everywhere, right? No one likes to see their friends go through shit. Nobody. No one likes to see their friends in pain. No one likes to see their friends like down in the dumps. Although sometimes we do have to get down in the dumps to understand what garbage is in there that's making us feel like that. Again, my personal opinion. But I honestly think that we are all awesome people. We are all awesome people. Mom says, one of my favorites. Oh, hold on. Let me go up. It's good just working, keeping busy. Yeah, I came in on the tail end of that. Okay, I see you, Yoda. I'm just glad you're here. Man. Mom said, one of my favorites that I have to remind myself often, attitude is a choice. That is true, even if circumstances are not. 1,000%, Mom. It's all a choice, right? One of my favorite comedians got sued by somebody because he told a joke that might have been insensitive just to that person. It was a funny joke. But it's not the comedian's fault that the person took it and got mad at the comedian. It's a joke. Some people, oh, that's not funny. I don't like that person. Okay, but you're making a choice. You're choosing to be mad at this. You're choosing to be mad at this. It's not the comedian's fault. It's just like Instagram, like we were talking earlier with the Instagram girls or the Instagram guys that people think are perfect. It's not Instagram or Facebook's fault, in my opinion, that you feel pressure to look a certain way or be a certain way. You're choosing to feel that way. It's a choice. And if you can't...
Hello.
Thanks for the follow.
Hey,
You're watching the D Podcast Experience.
LOL. Regardless, everyone's entitled to their opinion. Not going to get into it. But everyone, the thing is that people who you think are perfect, man, they're just human beings. They're just human beings, guys. And if it gets to you too much, stop looking at it. Don't go there then. Sometimes we put our own selves in our own little demise. It's like we walk downstairs to the dungeon and close the door behind us and forget to walk back up the stairs and close the door behind us as well and be like, I'm not going down there. Come on. You know. Mel said, beating someone down because of their flaws only brings down your character. Now trying keywords, yes. To open up their eyes to a solution or a better alternative speaks volumes. If you come to an end of a road with that person, then you have to just continue being you and let them be them. It's one of those things where it's like, oh, okay. Hold on, let me get rid of this cat right here. Let's go ahead and... I don't know how to do that. Hold on. Let's go here. Huh. Oh, I get it. Okay. Let's do this. And what was it? There you go. All right. Bye. Boom. Close. And probably still in chat though. I probably did it wrong. That's fine. Let me do this real quick. Hold on now. Interrupting something good going on. What the heck? Interrupting something good going on. What the heck? Wow. There we go. Okay. Let's go here. Oh, no longer there. Funny. All right. So see that right there, right? You guys see that in chat. I see it in chat too. So, one of those people to get rid of. Yeah. See, the thing is people, I laugh at people like that. Now I can sit here and be all mad and get all worked up. No, there's no need for that because that person obviously is somebody who has nothing else going on in their lives that they have to spread that bullshit, right? And so, and obviously because I'm a black dude is why that person said, you know, whatever they're saying. It's all good. It doesn't, you choose to be mad at ignorance or you choose to be like, that person's ignorant and they live in their own hell every day, and I don't need to add anything to it. They live in their own hell. So anyway, as far as people, as far as our own anguish.
Thanks for the follow. You're watching the D Podcast Experience.
It is one of these people that have nothing better to do. Absolutely nothing better to do. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay.
Hello.
Thanks for the follow. You're watching the D Podcast Experience.
That's all right. Every time they come in, boom, I could just get rid of them. It makes no difference to me. It's actually fun.
Thanks for the follow. You're watching the D Podcast Experience.
It's actually funny. It's very funny to me, actually, that there's people out there that actually do this. They have nothing better to do. Look at that. Goodbye. Message is deleted. It's all good, Mom. No trip. Don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. Boom. This is definitely not a political stream. And there's people out there that, you know, it is what it is. I don't know if they're bots or people, makes no difference to me. There's people that, see, that's the thing, is there are people that come along in life just to spread bullshit. And again, I don't care who people vote for. I don't care, you know, it's open, healthy debates is what's gonna make change, right? Healthy debates. Not hating or yelling or anything, because when you do that, you're just feeding into the bullshit that they want. That's all. So this shit doesn't bother me at all. Anyway, with how people are and the strength of people and the resilience of people, we are stronger than we think. Just like this situation right here. Now I can get all up in arms and go follow them, find out where they're at and try to get them back and all that. For what? For what? What would be the reason for me to do that? It makes no difference. There's just people out there that plain want to make others feel bad. And when they don't, it pisses them off. It pisses the people off because they're already going through some bullshit probably in their life. And it's like a bully, right? Usually bullies in school are people that go home and their home life is fucked up. So when they go to school, they channel all that bullshit because they don't know how to deal with it, and they put it on someone else, y'all. That's it. So, I already blocked them. No worries. I've not only blocked them, but banned them. Once they get banned, then it is what it is. So, anyway. So as far as when you're going through shit, y'all, you have to understand there's been things that you thought you'd never get past that you got past. When I was in grade school, I got sent to the principal's office, and that was the worst. I was like, oh man, my life's done. It's over with. And you're like, oh shit. And then you realize, oh, it's not really that bad. As you get older, you start to realize, damn, that really wasn't as, why was I tripping about that? Especially when I was in my early 20s, mid 20s, there's a lot of things that I thought was a big deal that really weren't. In retrospect, it's not a big deal. It just seems like a big deal in the moment. But in a bigger picture, it's really not that big of a deal. So, anywho. What time is it? Oh, shit, we've been going for almost 2 hours, y'all. We've been going for almost 2 hours right now. Almost. There we go. Ban them. That's crazy. 2 hours flying by. Super flying by. But no, to wrap everything up, ladies, you have more power than you think you do. A lot more power than you think you do. Things that you think are a big deal now, they won't be that big of a deal 10 years from now. Think of what was a big deal 10 years ago to you. And ask yourself, is that really a big deal now? Probably not, right? Fellas, we can all do better every single day. Every single day. But the same thing applies. Things that we think are a big deal now aren't going to be a big deal 10 years from now, right? And it's hard to think 10 years from now because we're living in the now, which we should. You should live in the now. We should. It's like when people go out to eat, but they're constantly on their phones. That's not living in the now. Living in the now means taking in everything that's going on and being appreciative of the moment, right? So it's hard for us to live in the moment and still think 10 years from now and be like, this really isn't going to be that big of a deal. Just know that things that you think are a big deal now aren't really that big of a deal at all. So anyway, guys, on that note, I do have to get to the gym. I'm actually 45 minutes. I went 45 minutes longer than I expected, but I appreciate everyone coming in. Even the people that come in and just want to raid rooms and just be idiots. Which they're not idiots. They're just doing idiotic shit just to get under people's nerves or whatever. But just know that we all have the ability and the power to have things either affect us or we can choose for them not to affect us. It's all a choice on what we do. Ladies, stop ignoring red flags. It's not you who are attracting narcissistic people and all this. It's not. It's not. Because in order to attract something means you have to, when something comes to you, you always accept it. You don't have to accept it. You don't have to accept empty validation. You don't have to accept none of that. Okay? If you want to get dolled up and put on your makeup and put on your outfits and your short skirts, do that for you. Don't do it for attention. Okay? And don't put yourself on no rating system. Don't compare yourself to other people who you think are perfect. Okay? You are you for a reason. There's only one of you. How awesome is that? That the big man upstairs or whoever you believe in found fit to make only one of you. There's a reason for that. Because you are enough. You're enough. That's why there's one of you. Because you are enough. All right? On that note, guys, thanks everybody for being here. Mom, thank you so much. I hope you do visit again. Go get some things done. Have a wonderful day. Yoda, thank you, man. I appreciate you. Thank you for coming in. Regardless, short time, long time, it doesn't matter, man. You took the time out to come pop your head in a little bit and say, hey, what up, though? And then, do what you do. So I appreciate you. I appreciate all of you. Melissa, thank you. Everybody that was in here. Miss Sandra D, thank you. I appreciate it. And I appreciate the activity also in the chat room as well, as far as like the Funk Shop TV fam group. Yeah. Let's be there for our boy. He's going through it. We all know who I'm talking about, but he too will get through this. He too will get through this. As we all will, right? We got to be there for one another. Remember, guys, I love y'all. Love yourself so we can love others. I'm out of here. Peace.